So what I'm doing now is I'm now got that map that I've been working on recently, and I'm trying to, as you can see, I've got layers turned off and on. So I'm trying to create a bigger scale map. There's the road center lines. I've got the electoral boundaries, which the electoral boundaries are suburb boundaries from the census data, which I've instructed about how to put on from another tutorial. And so now what I've got is contours, I've got the border, I've got the road center lines, and I've got the suburb boundaries. It gives us a picture of the town. So if we're looking at how to now produce a map from something like this, what we do is we go to new print layout. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new print layout, and I'm going to call it example because I'm doing it to show you. And I'm going to say A4, portrait, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to say what it's going to describe is, ACT urban. I'm going to call it. Okay, it'll make sense in a second. Okay, now, first thing I need to do is it's popped up there. You can see we've got a different window going here. Now I go to page properties. And so at that point, it's on the right-hand side. It is A4 I want. I'm going to say I want portrait. Now, what I want to do is on the left-hand side here, you'll see there's a button that says add map. So I'm going to add a map here, and I'm just literally drawing a window. If you're familiar with AutoCAD, that's really what we do there as well. And as you can see, it will pop in there. Now it wants to know what scale. Now I have been playing around with it. If we want to move around inside that window, we go that button there that says move item, and we actually can drag it around. Now it's telling us already that it's about, scale is about 81,000. I want to get the urban area. I'm going to move it to 100,000. So I'm just going to go 100, 000. Or is that a million? What's that? No, 100,000. Let's just do that and see what happens. And you see we've now got basically the most of the ACT's urban area. Again, going to move it around so that I can see it all in there. Okay, and so there is a piece of data. There's got basically the top to the north south of in Canberra. And so what I'm going to do now is I click on the side. I want to add a label. So with the text part here, I'm just going to say I'm going to add some data, and so I'm going to click here, and I'm going to type ACT urban areas. Maybe I'll make it all caps. And then below here, you'll see the appearance. You'll put in Arial. I'm going to put in Arial here, and I'm going to make it about 16. I could make it 24. Let's see what 24 looks like. Presumably these are points, right? I think 24 is too much, so I'm actually going to put in 16. I'm going to make it bold. There we go, ACT urban areas. Now, I'll make it a bit smaller. Let's lock it so it ties in location-wise to that, I'm going to cut and paste that, Control-C, Control-V. I've got another one. And I'm going to say Canberra landscape architecture. I might even put it there like that. Let's see how that looks. Maybe a little bit too bold for what we're talking about here. So let's put it, what if it goes like that? Okay, passable. Move it down a bit further, I'm actually going to change it to make it, not going to make it bold. I'm going to make it, oops. Let's make it 16, but we won't make it, whoops. Let's make it 16, but we'll make it regular. And I'll also put it like that so that it's clear in some sense. I don't really like that. Playing around. Do 12. Yeah, here we go. It's a bit better. right? Okay, now there's other things we can do here. Let's put on a bar scale, and I'm improvising, right? So add a bar scale. There we go. So we put a bar scale here. Wants to know which way we want to justify it. Let's go left, width, height. I don't know. Let's pop it in and see what we get. You know, that's telling us what happens if we make it bigger. You know, what's the units? You know, it's in kilometers, right? So the multiplier is 1,000. You know, we can obviously customize this. So I'm not going to customize it for now. I'm just going to actually, you know, put it down somewhere that looks sort of sensible. It's not that big, so I'm just going to actually move it there. Let's put another thing on there. Let's get a north point on there. I'm going to do it this time to the right so that I can justify it to the right. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again. You know, what happens if its reference point is up there? Okay, still not giving a huge amount. What's our symbol? What do we like? I guess that will do. Let's just get this done. So then we've got a map. So that's the basic way we've got a map. Now, if we want to print that, let's just try Control P. You know, when in doubt, Control P always works. Page attributes, paper size. We've said portrait. What happens if I save as a PDF? You know, I'm gonna just make it a. I'm just going to type, you know, print test, and I'm going to just save it on my desktop. See what our map looks like. Now, obviously, it's in color currently and a whole lot of other things. So let's start there and see what we get out of that process. You know, the other thing I'll be looking at is how to produce SVG files as well. Okay, we have a you know, something there. So let's just have a look at it. Let me go to my desktop and pull it up. You can see how much data is in there, right? So that's the map. Now there's more variables we'll want to play with. And you know, we can go through that kind of process as we go, but that's one way to produce a map. If I look at it, that's a 60 meg file, right? So that's a pretty decent sized map. But you know, that's the one way that we can do that. There is also other methods where you can use to export things, but we'll do that in a separate tutorial.